This is the Pat Nat Cast, a podcast hosted by Pat Nat Games. Today I'm joined by Ventus HD. He's known for his various think pieces and videos on Nintendo series of new and old, as well as the occasional videos on Kingdom Hearts, vlog-style videos, or any other games that might be at his doorstep according to his very professional bio. Ventus, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here.
Did I generally hit all the steps there? Nothing you feel like I'm glaring omitting to the audience?
So one thing I'd say that, and like not a lot of people usually bring it up, is I'm also I advertise it on my channel a little bit because my demo reel's up, but I'm also
Right.
a freelance editor.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was planning on asking you if I should bring that up, but now consider this free promo. If anyone out there needs an editor, we got Ventus HD here, and he has a reel on his channel that you could check out some of his previous work. So there you go.
For sure.
What is it about editing specifically that you like? This isn't an official question I wrote down. I'm just curious. Because I have my reasons for why I like editing, but what draws you to editing, would you say?
So I've been editing since I've been 10 years old. I'm 21 now, so it's been 11 years now.
Sure.
I don't know. Like I just kind of like seeing like different pieces that I've already created and taking the different things and altering them, and just I like putting it together. It's like feels like a puzzle, but it's like not linear, and that makes sense. Like you can put it together multiple ways.
It's one of the there's some art forms, but one of the few art forms or select art forms that incorporates so many different components into one final piece, you know? You have to deal with things like video and audio, but then also you have this whole timeline that you have to deal with. You literally have to deal with time in the creation of it, and that's not something that every art form can own.
Exactly.
And, I think that's why I'm fascinated by it too. I also feel like you make one small change in editing and you get an immediate like blast of dopamine. Like you can see the progression so real time where everything's getting like a little bit better. I don't get that satisfaction as quickly when I'm doing physical art forms like painting or sculpting or anything like that. You know, it's usually I have to wait a long time before I get that dopamine back. But with editing, it's so gratifying making small changes and then doing the quick playback and being like, yeah, I made that. And I enjoy editing for that.
No, yeah, exactly. Like you get to see, like you can stop if you made like a really like something I say like a really cool edit. You can just kind of like stop and relook at it and keep relooking at it like right after you do it, versus where in other art forms you have to work and sometimes that can be like days and you don't see any sort of progression. Like you don't see everything tied together, sometimes not near until the end.
Yeah, definitely. And in a weird way, you're dealing with stuff that could in theory be done, you know, after you have the recording or you have the footage. It's like in theory that could be done. You could just upload it. It might be crappy, but it could be done.
Yeah.
So you're already taking something that is done and you're just making it better every step of the way. And I think that's also another thing that's cool. It's like there's no cap to how good it can be. It's just because it was already done when you got it. You're just improving it like every step of the way. And I think that's fascinating.
It's also like I think another thing I like is that like say with like physical art forms, like you brought up painting, like you can't really like when you paint and you put paint on a piece of paper, it's like kind of stuck there. You can't really go back and change it. Well, with editing, you can kind of just undo something or try it a million different ways before you actually set in stone what you want to do.
Definitely. Yeah. And for reference, I'm a graphic designer by trade, but I think a lot of the stuff that I like about design is also in video editing, right? And that's why I enjoy video editing as well.
No, yeah.
But I'm not a video editor by trade per se. I still do get like big burnout when I'm editing videos, so I can always appreciate people who like yourself who can edit for a living. And that's a big diversion I didn't mean to get us into. I hope you guys are all nerds like us and like to talk about the differences in art forms, especially video editing specifically. But you know, hey, I like to ask, but I used to have a creative podcast, you know, and that's the kind of question I used to ask, I guess. Anyway, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
I do want to give a quick note to all those listening out there that if you are watching this on YouTube, you can also listen to this on any of your favorite podcasting platforms. We also have a Discord server where you can join in and tell your complaints to my face, to which I will take personally or not personally. That's for you to find out when you join the Discord server. Ventus, do you mind if I ask you some ice-breaking questions, which
Sure,
apparently I
sure.
haven't already done? Apparently that was just a regular question, but I have an ice-breaking question for you.
Sure, sure.
So I try to tailor these a little bit towards the guests themselves, and I know you've talked a decent amount about various 3D Mario games specifically,
Yeah.
and I love platformers. 3D platformers is like my bread and butter. I love dissecting them. I love talking about them. I'm curious because you've got some how you say one or two hot takes with one or two 3D Mario games, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if you were to combine elements from all these 3D Mario games to make a perfect 3D Mario game that maybe doesn't have some of those elements that you're less fond of, what kind of elements would you pull from what's already existing? For an example, you might really like the flood mechanics of Super Mario Sunshine, or you might really like the orbital gravity of Super Mario Galaxy, or you might really like the level selection of Super Mario Galaxy 2. I'm not sure if that aligns with you, but uh, those are some examples. What would you pull together for this crazy Mario concoction that might be the best 3D Mario platformer to have ever existed?
I mean, for me, I think the main thing about Galaxy is that I really like the atmosphere. As you said, the
Sure,
orbital, but I say the atmosphere more than anything is what gets me,
I
and
agree. I
the
agree.
music, and just I like the feeling of like this, and I mentioned this in my Galaxy 2 video. I like the feeling of Mario Galaxy 2 that you're just kind of it feels like you're in this world exploring it, not entirely alone. Like I feel like there's just enough there to not make it
Right.
feel like it's a barren game. It's just
Sure.
it's like a perfect balance. And that's the one thing I like about that. I really like you said 3D Mario. I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
3D worlds power-ups. I quite enjoy
Okay.
those.
I agree.
Especially
Yeah.
yeah, especially the cat Mario. I think that could be really cool, especially with
Yeah.
traversing across planets, and you could have different things for you to climb on. I'd like to
Yeah.
almost see it in a more traditional 3D Mario, because I could
I
think that would
agree.
be really cool for traversion. Same thing with the
Yeah.
cherry power up.
Right.
Um
I think the cat one specifically is interesting because it feels so suited to the 3D environment. And I was thinking about power-ups in Mario Galaxy specifically recently. And some of those are kind of hit and miss. The Slinky feels maybe doesn't control as well as you'd like it to.
yeah,
The B
yeah.
is a little bit slow. Um but one in particular I was thinking about was like the Fireball Mario, because I was like, I don't know if the fireball works in the 3D space, and I think even when we got glimpse of it in 3D World and in even Mario Odyssey, when you would use Cappy to control Fire Bro or
Yeah.
whatnot, the it never felt as satisfying as shooting a fireball in the
Yeah,
2D
yeah.
world. Uh, that's a long-winded way to say I agree with the cat form Mario though, because I feel like that one really does aid the 3D space quite a bit. In fact, maybe doesn't aid the 2D space as much as we see. I think there was a cat power up in Super Mario Maker 2. Is that correct? Am I
Yeah, I'm
crazy?
pretty sure, because I know it has a 3D world space. I don't own the
Right.
game personally myself, but I
Okay.
from what I've played of it, I'm pretty sure it has that.
Right. I in my head it doesn't work as well on the 2D plane basically, but I don't have enough reference to actually say that for certain. But I
Yeah.
please continue. I didn't mean to completely derail it.
No, yeah, yeah, no, no, you're all good. Yeah, in terms of other stuff I take, um,
Yeah. And if you want, I can also prompt you with specific questions. Like, would you want to take um, the maybe Sunshine's like bigger worlds, or would you want to take maybe Mario 64's like smaller worlds, concentrated worlds, or even Galaxies even more smaller and less concentrated or more concentrated? Like what kind of worlds would you
see,
be dealing with in a perfect Mario game?
I kind of like what Galaxy and 64 did, where you kind of just had smaller worlds, but there was such a variety
Right.
of them, and they all felt so different from each other. Another thing I
Sure.
also this is a thing that I feel like has kind of almost aged out of gaming in general, because I know that
Yeah.
Mario was not the only one to do this, but hub worlds. I really
Yeah,
wish we had the hub worlds. I mean, I know
I agree.
you kind of have like the what's it called in Mario Odyssey? Can't even think of it right now. The thing that you
The
go in
hat.
and the thing that you go in to
Yeah.
go to different areas. I forget what it's called,
Right, right.
but you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. The
the
ship.
Odyssey machine, yeah,
That's what it
whatever it's
is.
called.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And it's funny because we haven't really had a proper hub world since Galaxy, but even
Yeah.
Galaxy's hub world is comparatively to like Delfino Plaza and Peach's Castle is,
Yep.
much more minimal. It's
Yep.
much more consent, and now we just don't have them. So I agree. It's weird that they've just phased that out when I don't think anyone was asking them to phase that out, you know?
Yeah. Well, because the thing I like about Mario 64 is like you're there's the courtyard which is all
Right.
outside, and then you
Yeah.
go inside and that's where everything is, and I like that, and I like how intricate it is,
Yeah.
and you unlock the different areas. Well, with even with Galaxy, like everything's all there. Like you can go and mess around and go out of bounds even sometimes, and go walk around those places that you haven't even unlocked yet. Well, with Mario
Sure.
64 it only shows you what you've unlocked. And
Yeah, yeah.
even like as a kid, like it almost feels intimidating when you see all this stuff like that's not unlocked, but you know you had to unlock it.
Yeah. Well, and even in Sunshine, a lot of like you wouldn't know where the extra worlds was going to be. Even though you had access to the whole thing, you were never seeing something you couldn't really
Exactly.
access other
Exactly.
than maybe like the final boss area up at the waterfall, right?
Yeah.
Um yeah. No, I completely agree. In my ideal 3D Mario, absolutely there would be not just a hub world, but like a a, a respectable hub world, more so than the likes of Comet Observatory. Not to throw too much shade at it,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
it has its own special feeling,
Oh
but
yeah, for
I
sure.
really I
It feels
really
almost like a
miss the
community.
vastness. Yeah, it does, and it makes a lot of sense for that game.
Yeah.
It is orbiting while the other planets are your destination. The whole game is fractured, right? So it makes sense for the hub world to be fractured.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
but also, I think it would be fun to have actual collectibles in the hub world, right? Some kind of reward to actually explore it. And I think that's what was really missing from Galaxies was
Yeah, yeah, no, I can
there
see where you're
wasn't
coming
really
from with
much to
that.
explore, and there wasn't incentive to even navigate around it, right? Other than getting to the levels. But anyways, yeah, okay, so I agree. We've got power-ups from 3D World. We've got more expansive hub world. What else do you think we can cook up?
I think that they should bring back the playable characters. I'd want them to bring back I like the multiple different playable characters. Like I know we have Luigi, I know
Oh,
we have like imagine having
from
a
DS, you're
3D
saying?
no from 3D World, those characters, those exact
Oh, from
ones.
3D World. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I'd like that
okay.
cast. I think that's the perfect cast.
Okay.
Obviously like I think the only one I'd honestly cut is Rosalina. Not to throw any shade at her, but I'd rather replace her with either like Toadette or even like you said 64DS Wario. So um
That's right. Wario had a rough go at it because there was hardly ever reason you'd pick Wario in that game. So if they could
exactly.
find a good reason to make you pick Wario, then I'm all for it.
Exactly. What's like imagine if you could only like break through stuff as Wario, almost like kind of how like Donkey Kong breaks through things. Like
Yeah.
I like I think a big thing, and like I don't even think this is I don't know if this is in any of the 3D Mario games. It's been a hot minute since I played them, but like
Uh-huh.
if there was just like instead of like in 3D World where there was just like a button and you have to play as Toad to go press that button, and that's all it is. I'd rather like only certain characters have certain abilities to do certain things.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I want more than a cosmetic reason to play a character generally in games. And
But
I
also
understand that that's
yeah.
yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, but also at the same time, I'd like just to keep the accessibility there. I'd want like for like the game to like say I want you to be able to finish a level with another character if like you had to or you didn't like because again, kids play these games and like
Right.
I don't want to like take away the accessibility just for my enjoyment, but like I'd like a whole like area where this one star is hidden, even if it's like a whole thing. Like that's what I liked about
Yeah.
3D World is that they made like a little like game out of like certain rooms just to get a star,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it would be cool to kind of make it so oh you can only access this room and do this activity because of this character's
Yeah.
abilities.
Right. And I there's a more infamous game known as Donkey Kong 64, and Donkey Kong 64 also had characters with individual attributes that specific challenges would need them to be completed.
Yeah.
And Donkey Kong 64 missed the mark in a lot of ways, but if there's one thing I feel like was a shame when with the reception of Donkey Kong 64 is that it seems like a lot of people didn't want to go try almost hero based platformers again after that.
Yeah.
Even though of all the things Donkey Kong 64 did wrong, it wasn't necessarily that we had different heroes. What I will say is what's neat about Donkey Kong Bonanza is that Donkey Kong Bonanza has the other transformations as well.
Yeah.
In a weird way, paying homage to Donkey Kong 64, but done in a more streamlined way.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed how that was implemented in that game. So I think I'm chill with the idea of the characters being very different from each other. It would just have to be a sense of maybe not an overwhelming amount of challenges that need a specific character. I think you would have to find the nice balance between those two things, because if you were forced to play Wario every time, then it would become less interesting, even if Wario has a lot of interesting characteristics.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've got hero based, we've got hub world, and we've got power ups. Is there one more thing we can throw into the pot?
See, I'm thinking. Another thing is, I didn't play Sunshine, so I can't even pull from that game really.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Yoshi was a good concept. I feel like I'd still want him back. Maybe changed a little bit. Like I'll admit, I was I think I might have been a bit too harsh on Yoshi for Galaxy 2. I just
Okay.
feel like he could have been a lot more refined though, if that makes
Sure.
sense.
So a Yoshi as an accessory, not as a character, you're saying.
Like even as like, well, I like him still as like a power up, but like the
Right.
ideas that they had in Galaxy 2 weren't really like, oh, he has to, like, Mario has to have Yoshi in order to do these things, even though like a lot of the things that were Yoshi power-ups in Galaxy 2, I felt like I could
Uh-huh.
have seen Mario doing them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I want
Yeah.
like power-ups that make it feel like that only Yoshi could do it, not Mario. So it feels like there's a reason for Yoshi to be around more so.
Definitely. Yeah, I can see that. I was just clarifying that you weren't referring to being Yoshi as a playable character
No,
like
no, 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 no.
in Super Mario 64 DS. Um, but I think I would kind of be chill with a playable Yoshi character
Yeah, I
that
think
could have the
like
extensive jump, you know.
again,
Maybe
like
maybe
yeah,
you would feel like Yoshi would have more value other than just being Mario's jump toy, you know, like
or
something Mario just jumps on and off of.
like what I really liked, and I talk about this a lot, accessibility. Like if he was the little brother character, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest,
Oh, sure.
because
Yeah.
you know, as much as some people might complain, like be like, I want to play as Yoshi without compromising my experience. I'm like, why not just attach that to a character? Like I don't really see that much harm in it. If you really don't want to
Sure.
compromise your experience, you play as another character, right?
Yeah, I've always had a soft spot for the brother characters.
Yeah.
And Nintendo still does them sometimes, but
Well, like in
yeah, I
Wonder,
think oh, Wonder has a brother character?
like a little, like I say, little brother character, like the easier character, like the
Right.
like Toad Peachette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never played Wonder, so I didn't know.
Yeah, no,
Um
yeah, Yoshi's in there, and I think he's like an easier character to play as.
right.
Again, like I'm a big advocate for accessibility in video games, so
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. Well then what this Mario game that we've conceptualized has power-ups from 3D World, characters from 3D World as well. But this time with an additional hub world. And are you feeling in terms of levels, are you thinking more level based or more like expansive like previous 3D Mario games?
Um.
Like
Oh, okay. No, I get what you mean. I'd
yeah,
rather keep like the running around to go find one thing in the level. I still like that
okay.
because it
Like still
encourages you to
Odyssey level.
yeah, or like even Galaxy
Yeah.
level, because Galaxy you do go back and
Okay.
like the thing I really like about Galaxy, because I feel like Odyssey, I don't know if it was too big or if it's just like, I don't know. But Galaxy, the way I liked it presented was that you clicked on a star, so you went to go find that one star. I like the linearity of it. Um, while with
Right.
Odyssey, you're just kind of like, I like Odyssey and I like what it does, but like you're not like, you can go look for so many moons at once
Right.
and go like,
It feels
yeah,
like a less curated experience essentially
exactly.
because
And I get why
there's
people
not
like
laying the
that
path
though.
for you. Right. Yeah, I find myself stuck on the in between with that because even with Galaxy specifically, uh when you have the choice of specific stars and you go back to the same planet to get the stars, I felt like there wasn't enough overlap to my liking of like there wasn't a lot of reason to actually go back to the same planet as opposed to separating that and just making it two different levels because a lot
Yeah,
of times the trails would branch off completely from each other, right?
yeah,
And so in my head I was like, well, why not then turn this into level based, which then Super Mario Galaxy 2 eventually did. But at the same time, I agree where I hit fatigue with Odyssey, where because there were just moons, not just so many of them, but they were like all over the place,
yeah,
and had varying challenges. It made each moon feel less rememberable. While
exactly,
I can remember like every single star from Super Mario 64, those all
exactly,
felt very meaningful. So
exactly.
I can definitely see the value of wanting uh, curated paths towards stars. I think a good compromise for that would just be to make probably less of these collectibles around. I think it's not uncommon for people to say that Odyssey just had too many moons lying around, and they had less value because of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think 64 actually did its collection system the best. I think the stars are implemented so well in 64. And I'd like to see them return to that ratio of challenge with reward. Um, and maybe they would in this ideal 3D Mario game that we are now giving free ideas to Nintendo for. We're not asking for any royalties. At least I'm not. Maybe Ventus is. But
I am.
if you guys want to
No.
make a good game, okay, Ventus is. So only partial royalties.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're Nintendo. You can make it happen. You could send over a check. Uh I think that covers our Mario discussion unless there's anything else you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting actually that you ask about specifically 3D Mario, because throughout my life my perspective on 3D Mario has kind of changed. I
Sure.
I got like I was a very much a kid who was like, if I got stuck on a game and like I wasn't playing it, and like, when you're a kid you don't have a job or anything, I
You're right.
you would sell the game, and I did that twice with Galaxy. And after I did it twice with Galaxy, once when I was probably 8 or 9, and the time when I was probably like 12 or 13, um I was just kind of like, okay, maybe I just don't like 3D Mario. And
Right.
then I got the Switch in 2020. When it came out in 2017, I couldn't get it during that time.
Sure.
And I was just like, I don't even know why I was I was excited for the Switch itself, but like the two big sellers I was not interested in at that time. Um,
Right.
but I got into Odyssey. Like my friends just said, like, get Odyssey. It's really fun. You should just try it. I think you'll like it. Got Odyssey, really enjoyed it. And then I got 3D All Stars and Galaxy. Oh my gosh, like it brought me back because I remember seeing my brother play that game more than I would. Even though it was my game, I'd
Right.
just sit there and watch him play it because I would just want to see more of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I had siblings as well, and I did that frequently with my older siblings. Would just watch them complete it.
Exactly,
The
exactly.
the we're, Scientists still don't know why we enjoyed that, but it is a common trend amongst people with those who are better at games than them,
I mean, I think it's
playing
the
through
same
games.
psychology as sports if you really think about it.
That's true, which is also the same psychology of let's plays, I suppose.
Yeah,
There are some games I'd rather watch a let's play of than play. That's for sure.
exactly.
But yeah. Well, that's interesting. I'm glad you got into 3D Mario, even if it was this late. Odyssey is obviously a great jumping point for 3D Mario because it's so refined. You don't have to deal with a lot of the hiccups that some of the older games had, and or just the
Exactly.
the whole the genre as a whole has progressed so much at the point of Odyssey. So
Mhm.
uh, that's great. That's all great. Uh, we spent a good amount of time there. I think we're ready to get into some headlines if you're ready.
Fair enough. Sure.
Starting off, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Nintendo nominations for the Game Awards. Specifically, they've had two games that had nominations. One being Donkey Kong Bonanza, which was nominated for Game of the Year. I don't think it's going to win, but it is interesting that it was nominated. And then, of course, in the family gaming category, both Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World were both nominated. Now, I don't follow game awards extensively in the past, but I will say my interest in them has been going up a little bit every year. I'm not crazy about award shows in general, and I very much value in our individual opinion on games, and I feel like that feels more important to me than uh, ranking as something as like this is the best of the year. But at the same time, I recognize that you can have a lot of fun in speculation and discussion about game rankings. And this is what the gaming community's got, is the game awards.
Yeah,
We don't have a ton of other award ceremonies like other industries do.
exactly.
So I've been warming up to it over the years. And I think this year in particular is interesting because in terms of gaming, it was a stacked year. So many major releases came out this year to the point where you'll just forget that one major, like I saw Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 making ranks, and I was like, I forgot that game even existed because there were so many that have come out this year. Um, but it is interesting seeing Donkey Kong Bonanza make it to a Game of the Year nomination. Like I said, I don't think it's going to win. It's just too stacked.
Mhm.
I don't think a game like that can beat Claire Obscure Expedition 33 or Silk Song or Hades 2, whatever the other nominations are, or heck, Death Stranding 2. These are all games that are more expected to win announcement like this. I guess I should ask, have you played Donkey Kong Bonanza?
So I'll be honest with you, I do not have the Switch 2 yet.
Okay, that's
So
totally understandable.
I plan on getting it 100%. It's more
Sure.
so just clearing up some personal stuff, but when I can get it, I plan
Yeah.
on getting it 100%, and I plan on
Yeah.
playing that game.
Well, I always say personal finance is extraordinarily important and not talked about enough too. So whether or not the noise that you hear people talking about of whether or not this system is worth the value, whether it's not worth the value, all that is less important than your own personal finances, because the question is that's more important is, can you actually afford the thing? And
Exactly.
that honestly is the only thing that matters. So I appreciate all those who do wait until they can afford it instead of purchasing it when they absolutely should not be going into more debt. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah. So I applaud you for that. Why Donkey Kong Bonanza? I think it's great. I also think like it's a little bit of junk food in a way.
Yep.
It's very sensatiable. It's indulgent. But when it comes down to it, like if I'm comparing it to a game that on paper just hits essentially 10 out of 10s in every category, then I can't really say the same thing about Bonanza. It's kind of it's there when you need it, it's there when you want it, and then when you're done with it, you don't really think about it anymore because that's what junk food is, right? And that's okay. It's still great. It's still fun.
Yeah.
It's a great time. Um, but it's seeing it being nominated is I don't want to say it's completely undeserved, but I can't help but feel that like I don't know. It's not hearty enough. It's not it's not healthy enough like healthy food to
Yeah.
really make the ranks, but
No,
that's
yeah.
all I really have to say about it.
Yeah,
Uh
for me, like I can get like obviously with this game in particular, but I can get like the whole like junk food thing because honestly, I am a fiend for like modern Pokemon. Even though
sure.
I know some of it's not really the greatest, like I'll be
Right.
honest here, and I know you might get a comment or two about this, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl when I played them.
Okay.
So I
I played
100%
the
get the junk
originals and
food.
liked them. I don't know anything about the remakes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I that's the thing also that I feel like I have the unique perspective of, or I guess I'm not the only one, but I guess like I never played the originals. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Sure, sure.
So
And that absolutely understandably can change your opinion on something, And I don't know. I haven't played many Pokemon games as of late. I think the only things I heard about with the remakes was that as remakes they weren't great, but like I don't know, if the core gameplay is as good as Diamond and Pearl was, then I know it's at least a decent time because those were great
Exactly.
games on the DS. Um, but yeah, I can also understand people's frustration with remakes in general.
No, yeah.
It can feel like a bit munch sometimes, you know, and there is an expectation that if you're going to remake a game, then you're remaking it for the sake of it being better than the original. And so when it's not better than the original, it's like, well, why did you make it?
Yeah.
And obviously the answer is, well, because money. But um, like, so I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, you know, you only got to experience the core gameplay of Diamond and Pearl through the remake. So
Exactly.
I'm not gonna throw shade at the fact that more people get to experience these games now.
No, yeah.
I and you know, that's only loosely tied to the Game Awards, but there you go. We snuck in a little remake discussion in there as well. Our next headline is about Pokemon Pokopia. I think that's how you call it.
Yeah,
An
I'm pretty
extended
sure.
trailer was released for it. Yeah. I again, I'm not a Pokemon guy yet. There's been so much Pokemon news lately, so I feel a little at like third persony talking about Pokemon stuff. But this game at least looks interesting to me because it's not just a traditional Pokemon game. It is another spinoff. And it mimics a style of Animal Crossing. I don't play Animal Crossing though, so I don't know how similar it actually is. But they showed off some new stuff in this trailer. The biggest thing that alarmed me was like, oh wow, okay, so this is a grid based game. And then I was watching some of the more explorative stuff, and I couldn't help but get this like sinking like um classic voxel game vibe where I would only play if I'm not playing like the big voxel game, which is Minecraft. Um, I don't know. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to say the game looks
No,
uninteresting,
yeah.
but there definitely is this inherent level of fatigue when I see independent or not independent, but when I see voxel based games that aren't the voxel based game, to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if I need to sink my teeth into that per se. Uh, did you have anything you wanted to add to this one?
Yeah. I personally, I think it's gonna like. It seems like I don't want to say like Animal Crossing with a Pokemon skin in per se, but like I feel like it seems like a mixture of not only like I see the Minecraft aspects and I see even the
Sure.
New Horizon like influence and but I also
Yeah.
see some like I kind of grew up with a Harvest Moon DS. I say kind of because I didn't really know what I was doing in that game. I was 7 when I played
Right.
it. But like I
But
see
you
the
feel some harvest vibes.
exactly. And so as somebody who's a fan of Pokemon, Minecraft, Animal Crossing, and I'm like optimistic about it. I don't really have any
Sure.
like takes or anything like that. The one thing like I feel like the only thing that I was concerned about was like told to me later in the trailer, and that's character customization, which they showed off later. So I was just like, okay, that's the only thing I was worried about, and they've told me that's
Oh,
fixed. So like,
about not having it
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
oh, okay. I
yeah,
see. I think the concept of being a Ditto that could transform into other Pokemon is neat. I think that
exactly,
opens up certain avenues.
yeah,
I'm not expecting them to really break a lot of ground with that though. Like I almost think a bigger scale game as a Ditto where you transform into Pokemon where we could really see those attributes form. I think that would be maybe more ideal in my head than this a game that just happens to have transforming Pokemon in it, you know? Like I basically I'd love to see a game where that's the premise is that you transform into Pokemon.
yeah. So like
Um
you could like go through different areas as different Pokemon, um,
right.
and like say you can only get through this water area as like Lapras because Lapras can
Right.
swim, but you can only get through this flying area because you're playing as Dragonite, or you need to get through
Yeah,
this fire
definitely.
area. You can only play as Charmander or Charizard or whoever. But yeah, like I
Yeah.
could see like an
It's
open world game like that almost.
right. I mean it all looks relatively neat. I don't think it's anything I'm not going to I'm just I don't play Pokemon games, so I'm not going to get into it, but the main reason I even wanted to bring it up is because earlier in this show I've talked about game key cards. We've had a whole discussion about it, and They have also announced that this is going to be the first Nintendo published game that is going to be a game key card as opposed to a regular game card. I have a article from Nintendo Life here. The headline reads Pokemon Pokopia is Nintendo's first game key card release. One of the things they bring up in here is that Nintendo has previously gone on a record to state that it wouldn't use the medium for Nintendo developed titles, referring to game keycards specifically. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons with game keycards that we went over previously. The big pros being that, okay, well, now we can have games that wouldn't normally be able to run on the system run on the system. And of course, the big cons being like the people who like to buy physical games are now getting a little bit screwed over because the reason they like to buy physical games is this idea of permanence and owning for good, while and not being tethered to online servers. And then Game Geek Cards comes along and it's like, well, you're still going to have to be tethered to online servers.
Mhm.
So in a weird way, it's like punishing people who like physical cards while also opening up avenues for those who wouldn't get to experience games otherwise, which
No,
makes it
exactly.
a tough debate, right? I will say, what I said in that episode was I didn't like the idea of Nintendo having first party game key cards because they know their system's extents. They should be able to optimize games for their own system. So seeing this come out really bothers me. The idea that like you're gonna publish this game for yourself and yet not know how to make it work on your system when it's Pokopia. It's not Cyberpunk 2077,
No,
which
yeah,
wasn't a game key card. You know,
exactly.
uh, it's insane to me. It boggles my mind, and it really bothers me. I have seen people comment saying it's because this is technically developed by a separate company. I don't remember their name, but
Game
it's not
Freak.
Nintendo. Well, Game Freak, but they're also licensing it out to oh yeah, to this. Here's the quote from the article. This isn't a Nintendo developed title. It's Omega Force,
Okay.
um, which is I guess also called Koei Tecmo. And it also says, but in that case, then why didn't the KT developed Hyrule Age of Imprisonment also receive game card release? Because I guess they also worked on that game as well. Which means it could very well be because of Game Freak or something that's like, well, let's just do this to save some money and not have to worry about putting it on the disc. Or because Game Freak it has some allegations right now of not knowing how to optimize their games. I don't know where they could have gotten those allegations.
Yeah, yeah.
But uh, either way, it doesn't sit right with me. I don't like the idea. I still buy physical media, uh, and just first party games. I feel like absolutely should be optimized for the system. Uh, is there anything you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, I'll give you some of my takes on all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So with Pokopia in particular, yeah, I get where people are upset, and I get it's like, yeah, this is a pretty much a first party game. Like Pokemon's only known with Nintendo.
Yeah,
It's like they used it so much, and they put Pikachu next to Mario so many times. They
right,
In Japan they have Pikachu dressing up as Mario and Luigi and all that stuff. So like I get where people like, yeah, it but also part of me's wondering is there's like two different things. Like part of me's wondering, is this because it's Game Freak, and is it because it's Game Freak and this other company, so it's only like
right,
so much Nintendo stake in this one compared to like a regular Pokemon game where it's Game Freak and Nintendo, but there's Game Freak, Nintendo, and this other guy in this Pokopia game. And then the other thing I'm
right.
wondering, because I noticed, and I could be wrong, like when I saw this initially, but I thought that Pokopia was originally either supposed to be a cross-gen game or just a Switch One game. I don't know
Oh,
if that
interesting.
changed or not. I could be, again, it's been a while since that game was like first revealed, but part of me
Right.
wonders, um, if this is their like that's what they're planning on doing with certain projects that they just don't that were made for the original Switch, but they no longer want to put it on there for one reason or another. Um,
Right.
yeah, cause
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
with how light this game seems, I wouldn't be surprised if it was originally going to be a Nintendo Switch title.
exactly.
I wonder because surely they knew that some people would not like the idea of game cards. I wonder what made it still realistic enough for them to go for it, even for a game as relatively light as this one. Uh, I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't fully understand. It could just be that they couldn't optimize it and they needed it to run more directly on the system as opposed to the card. Who knows?
Yeah, because
Uh,
there was a weird
but yeah.
case that I only heard a few people talk about. Pac-Man World 2 is a game key card, but there's a Switch 1 version. That's just like exactly that, the Switch 1 version. And that just confuses me a
Yeah,
lot.
I don't know.
So that makes me think
Yeah.
like are they trying to do something where they're trying to almost like phase out the Switch 1 stuff and this is one of the things they're doing?
Possibly, but I mean, I think really all they have to do, I think all they really have to do in order to make a Switch 2 edition and a Switch 1 edition is change the cartridge to
That's
red.
true. That's
And
true.
and add like just a couple little extra bells and whistles. At least that's what it seems like with the Switch 2 editions versus standard, because they,
Exactly.
they don't add groundbreaking stuff, right? So I don't know, but I don't know if I've heard that this is also coming on Switch anywhere, unless that was
I I
originally in like some of the big
Yeah,
leaks
no,
that
'cause
happened
I
and then they
checked
changed
that. No, I
courses.
checked that trailer, the trailer, the 10-minute one that you just talked about.
Uh-huh.
That one says it's only coming out on Switch 2, but I swear in like that initial
Oh.
like Nintendo Direct trailer, it said Switch 1 and Switch 2, but I could also just be misremembering.
Oh, who knows?
Um,
Either way, I already wasn't gonna get Pokopia, but I definitely wouldn't plan on getting it now with the game key card. Not to say I wouldn't get any game key card game, but the idea of a Nintendo one is what really bothers me, basically.
I mean, with me, I'll throw this in there. My game key
Uh huh.
card take. So I know that Nintendo's not the only company who's doing this, as far as I know,
Yeah,
because like
sure.
I own a PS4 and I noticed that some of the newer games they download
Yeah,
stuff off the internet as soon as you put the disc in. It's the only difference is it's
right.
Nintendo is saying that they're doing this, which I 100% understand the people who are saying like from a preservation perspective this really sucks because you don't actually own anything, and I 100% get that. Um,
Right.
but there almost like a lot of the other aspects um that are surrounding that. I think sometimes the game key cards are better. Like I don't think that Nintendo first party games should be on key cards, but in terms of other stuff, like a big problem I saw with the Switch 1 was that there were so many games that were either just a code in a case, or
Sure. Yeah.
another issue that a lot of people didn't talk about were the fact that there were so many Switch games that were like collections. Like I think it's Bayonetta 1 and 2 and like a couple like the Mega Man collections. You would buy the game and it would only have like one or two games or one or two collections or whatever on there. And
You'd
then
have
you'd have to
to
download
download
the
the
other
rest of them.
game. And
Right.
for people who aren't necessarily all about collecting and like those people who buy their games and to trade in after they're finished with it, they kind of lose like half the value sometimes when there's a full game missing off that cartridge because they already used
Yeah.
this code on their account. Um
Well,
yeah.
and we don't know when you're not going to be able to re-download it when it hits the aftermarket, right?
Yeah.
They so far have done a pretty good job historically. Like Nintendo Wii Shop channel, the one thing you can still do on there is re-download things you've already
Yeah.
bought,
And even the
right?
3DS, you can do that too.
Yeah, yeah. So they're even though they've done a good job historically at keeping that service available, you just never know when uh, one upper level change happens in a ripple effect, makes it to where aftermarket then gets really hurt by not being able to re-download games from the servers because they find it easier to re-release the game on their new systems than to support cloud services for games that were bought a long time ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Obviously, that's a lingering fear that we don't have evidence of happening because they Nintendo's done a good job so far. Uh, but yeah, I definitely understand that being a big concern for collectors specifically.
Yeah.
A big thing for me though is just like I don't like managing digital space if I don't have to.
Oh, I get that.
I
I
don't want to
100% get
buy
that.
an additional SD card. I like the idea of swapping out a cartridge and having the game load instantly as
Yeah.
opposed to needing to delete and re-download. So I'm not even a huge collector per se. I like the convenience of the physical and not having to worry about digital space is the big thing.
Yeah, no.
But I don't know. And like you said, also, it's also worth mentioning that a lot of games, a lot of third party games on the Nintendo Switch just weren't running super well. You know,
Yeah.
that was just a common thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the silver lining of this is going to be that third party games are able to run better because they have the game key card option. Time will tell, I guess. You know, it's still early. We'll see how that goes. I am not extraordinarily confident that third party games are still going to be able to perform better comparatively to how the generation was when the Switch was around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm still kind of expecting third party games that release on the Switch 2 to not perform to the standards that I would hope with something like a game key card.
Yeah.
We'll see though. You know, time will tell. We're still early in, you know.
Yeah. Like another huge thing, like you're talking about performance and stuff like that. I think also, like, as much, again, like I like, if I could choose whether game key cards exist or not, I would obviously choose for them to not, because I like having everything on my cartridge. But I am gonna I'm gonna be one more devil's advocate for this, is that I think with this, hopefully it maybe will mean the death of cloud ports, because I there's, like, I get certain ones, like, it was because the game couldn't run on Switch and it's running on some computer, who knows where, you know. But
yeah.
like, a couple of them, I swear, were just put on cloud because of, like, the storage issue or the download issue or things like that. Because I'll bring this one up because Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5, those are PS2 games, and you're gonna have to do a lot of convincing to tell me that a PlayStation 2 game that was remastered for originally PS3 can't run on a Switch.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Some Switch ports have been notoriously, like, lazy. Like,
yeah.
I remember the Star Wars Battlefront ports that came over. I was so excited when I heard that they were bringing that back to the Switch, and then all the reviews came out about its various practical bugs and stuff, and I was like, this game came out in 2004. You know, like, why are we struggling on the Switch with this?
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's got its pros and cons. It's inevitable. Like you said, the rest of the industry is shifting. It just sucks for those who, you know, I've never really owned a PlayStation console to my name. I've had them in the house, but, like, I've never been a PlayStation guy. So even if PlayStation's doing that stuff, I'm still like, okay, well, I'm a Nintendo guy though. Like, that doesn't change how I experience my games. It's basically, even if everyone else is doing it, I'm, as a Nintendo fan, I'm still having to go through that culture shock of physical basically going bye-bye eventually. We all know that's coming. We all know physical's on its way out. But, you know, we're gamers. Gosh darn it. We'll be stubborn and we'll fight tooth and nail until we can't anymore.
Exactly.
As for other headlines, we are spending a lot of time on game geek cards, but it is a contentious issue for sure.
Yeah.
These next couple ones will be much quicker. Metroid Prime 4 had its 7-minute overview trailer. The running joke on the podcast has been that Metroid's got bad marketing right now, just because that's what the subreddit's saying, and I think it's fun to have something to talk about Metroid. I'm a huge Metroid fan. Yeah. I need something to talk about, right? They had a 7-minute overview trailer. This is highly welcomed. We got to see a lot more about the upcoming game. Generally, it still looks about as good as I'm expecting it to be, but I also think I have very moderated expectations. I'm not expecting the highs of Prime 1 and 2. I'm kind of expecting just maybe at least as solid as Prime 3, if not a little bit better. And I'll be okay with that. I'm chill with it. Prime 1 and 2 are Pantheon games in my book, and I can't expect games to reach that level all the time. So with Metroid Prime, for me, it's less about waiting for the best game. It's about waiting for any game, because we haven't had a Metroid Prime game in so long.
That's good.
So I'm excited to experience it. Some stuff that people have been a little bit concerned about is they've been showing off more Galactic Federation troopers. Metroid's done this before. I think historically Metroid does best in isolated situations, so I can completely understand the concerns about having what seems to be characters that are more prominent than even in Prime 3, which introduced a couple more Galactic Federation people. All that said, I'm still in the mindset of, like, yeah, let's just wait and see. We'll see how much they actually impact the game, or if they take away from the isolating feel that Metroid does super well. Because I think Metroid can still exist with all that while having some background story elements. We'll just have to wait and see how that's implemented. Um, and then, of course, we just got more views of different places that you can go to, which is good. It seems like there's an extensive amount of locations you can visit. They've been a little bit more withholding for previous trailers, so now we actually got to see, okay, here's some actual good locations. We have that explorative feel. I was taking a look at the mini map that was showing how expensive the levels were in the mini map, and it was looking pretty good, looking pretty explorative. The only reason I was concerned is because Prime 3 definitely wasn't as explorative. It was more direct paths for most of it. So I'm glad to see that there's still rumblings of original primes in here, and I'm excited to see it in fruition. That is everything I have to
Yeah.
say about it.
Yeah.
uh, is there anything you wanted to add, or
Unfortunately, I don't have a Halo retrospective to tie to this. No, no. So, I've only played. I have Metroid Prime 1.
okay.
My girlfriend got it for me for my birthday because I was interested in it. I got stuck in it
That
because
exact
it's
same
me.
thing happened to me.
Yeah,
It's a perfect boyfriend present, apparently.
yeah. And so like I haven't played that much of it, but like I I saw the trailer and it kind of like I again this is coming from an outsider. I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
whoa, this like I was like looking at him like this kind of feels like a PlayStation game, but like in a good way, you know?
Uh huh.
Like I'm
Like a modern PlayStation game,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
like a PS2 game,
No, like a
hopefully.
PS4 game. Like that's what shocked me. I was
Right.
like
Yeah.
like we were just talking about like this worried about the Switch 2 being able to hold like graphics and stuff like that of like modern titles, but like I saw the Switch 2 version of Metroid in that trailer and like I honestly like it just like looks so good. Like I like
Absolutely.
if I didn't know what Metroid was, and you told me that
You
was
would not
like
expect it to be a
yeah,
Nintendo game.
you like
Yeah.
if you told me that was a PS4 game or even a PS5
Right.
game. Because I don't own one of those either. But
Sure.
uh, if you told me that was one of those, I'd believe you. Like it just looks it makes me more
It looks
hopeful
great. Yeah.
for Nintendo being on par with the current gen that's going on.
Right.
Um,
Well,
that being said, I'm
and
wondering what the
this,
Switch 1 version looks like.
yeah. Well, to my understanding, the only difference between the Switch one is the Switch versions is resolution and frame rate.
Yeah,
It'll still run at 60 on the Switch 1, which is great. But if you have the Switch 2, it could run at like 120 or something like
that
that.
was
And you can also
shocking.
play at 4K. Yeah. So, but in terms of like texture fidelity and model work, that should all be the same throughout the games, which
Yeah,
is good. What I will say is this is classic Retro Studios because they haven't really had the chance to make like a modern 3D looking game besides Prime Remastered since like Prime 3, right? Because they were working on Donkey Kong and then they were working on Mario Kart. They haven't been back to a realistic looking game in a while.
yeah,
But if there's one thing Metroid really knows how to do, even back on the GameCube, not Metroid, sorry, Retro, even back on the GameCube, it's optimizing the game so well to the point where the game can look like it's looks a generation ahead
yeah,
in a weird way. And I definitely get those vibes from looking at the current trailer. And
yeah,
that's why I feel so comfortable with the upcoming Prime stuff, even if there are like classic Metroid red flags for other people. For me, I just have so much faith in Retro Studios that I'm like, this is still going to be a really solid title because Retro Studios has not made one bad title. Like they have a perfect record right now of just making great game, great game, great game.
yeah.
Um, so I'm excited. My expectations are moderate though. I understand Prime 1 and 2 are special. And gaming has changed a lot since then. You might not even be able to market a game just like Prime 1 today. I don't know. So I'm expecting it to evolve. I'm expecting it to be different, and that's okay. Um, and I'll still always love the originals. But I'm excited just finally,
I mean,
finally
I'm
get into
excited
this
as
thing.
somebody who's like barely like dipped their toes into Metroid. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard not to feel the hype after So many years of waiting.
Yeah.
Speaking of years of waiting, something we have not been needing to wait that many years for is the Legend of Zelda movie, which seems to have various tidbits dropped in the last couple weeks. First one being that there was a leak of the on-set filming of not Breath of the Wild. I mean, for all we know, it could be Breath of the Wild, but of the Zelda movie in New Zealand. Someone posted an Instagram video, just some like you know, look at their costumes and stuff like that. We saw a horse and very, very minimal stuff leaked, but it shows that they are filming and they are filming on location sometimes. So
Yeah.
that's comforting to hear. What better place to film on location than New Zealand? Peter Jackson doesn't know because that's where he goes.
Yeah.
And that is exciting. Now I'm not actually I'm not actually incredibly interested in the Zelda movie, but I do think it's cool that they're going more practical with shooting on location, and that's always cool for movies. One last thing in addition to that, they also tweeted immediately after some more pictures of the production, just Link and Zelda in a field. Nothing more, nothing that interesting, but they're slowly trying to show, hey, by the way, this movie exists. And Miyamoto likes to specify, this me, Miyamoto, this movie exists. It's like, okay, thanks, Miyamoto. And yeah, that's the new Zelda news. I don't have anything else to add. Do you have anything?
I mean, all I'm going to say is that I hope that it kind of goes for that more. I kind of hope it goes for a more darker tone, even more dark than Breath of the Wild, kind of more similar to Twilight Princess. Yeah. It was to say, because like I honestly I have it open right now. Link's in green, but he doesn't have his hat on. So like I really don't know what's going, like it's confusing me.
I think my suspicion is that because obviously Zelda's in blue.
Yeah.
This is all riveting conversation. My suspicion is that, the popularity of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is going to make most of the movie take place within that realm. I think I just think that's like the safest option for them. The other option would be that Miyamoto is like, no, let's go way back to Ocarina of Time and make it more like that, and then the costumes just reflect something from there. It goes the Mario movie route of just referencing everything.
Yeah. They just take different aspects of what they want.
Yeah, like Link not having a hood could be in reference to the fact of Breath of the Wild he doesn't have a hood, or it could just be that wearing a green hood in real life is not as like heroic as it is on a game. Maybe it doesn't translate well to the main screen. I don't know.
That, or we could be completely wrong, and it could just be like the beginning of it, because like a lot of beginning of Zelda games, Link's not wearing the hat.
That's true. One person in Reddit commented and said, that's the plot of the movie, is Link's trying to find his hat. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll buy it. Maybe it's the Minish Cap for all we know. All speculative. I think similar to the Mario movie, it's going to be kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different Zelda references, because Miyamoto really likes his references.
Yeah.
Even if it's to the point of exhaustion. But it's cool to see this movie exists.
Yeah.
We also get to see the actors in costumes, and it looks like Zelda, so sure, go for it. Moving on to other stuff.
Yeah.
We had Reggie come out of the box for a little bit to talk a little bit about Switch 2. The whole interview is very interesting. The interview was on what channel is this? The Game Business channel. I recommend you guys give it a listen if you're interested in everything he has to say. The only things I'm going to be talking about is what's reported from Nintendo Life. The headline reads, Reggie is surprised we haven't seen more Xbox titles on Switch 2. He basically was commenting that he was expecting much more Xbox support early into the year, especially given Xbox's recent branching out activities with other consoles and other gaming companies. And it's, where it stabbed itself and decided to not make consoles anymore, even though it is. But, Xbox just really, really likes the idea of collaborating with other gaming companies, having Halo announced on the PlayStation. I'm also surprised that we haven't had more Xbox representation on the Switch 2 specifically.
Yeah.
And it's interesting hearing a former president comment on that, because I guess that's interesting. I don't know. Because if anyone would know that's weird, it would be him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'd love to see Halo on coming to Switch. If it's already coming to PlayStation, bring it on the Switch. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see if it could run on the Switch too. But yeah, I'm all for Xbox releasing on other stuff and and not laying people off. But they're good at one of those things. So
yeah.
Moving on, unless there's anything you wanted to add.
So yeah, no, I give them I like Xbox needs to give over like their rare stuff so that way Nintendo can just make something. That's all I know.
Can we just have rare back?
Yeah, like
just
let Nintendo or retro or like whatever.
Yeah, clearly you're not doing much with it. You're just shutting down their games and forcing them to work on a live service game forever, like literally forever. Sea of Thieves has been running for so long, and I like Sea of Thieves a lot.
Yeah,
but I'm just like all these other IPs that you're not letting them get to. It's crazy.
The one thing I'm wondering, and like I thought about this during like Summer Games Fest, when they announced a bunch of games, and there was a quite lacking of Switch 2, but there were still like Switch games. Like I'm wondering, like are some people just like did they get their like dev kits late and now like they pushed everything back? Like that's what I was wondering.
It is interesting because there has been reports about Nintendo being very selective with who they sent out dev kits to originally. And it could be that they were not sending it to major competitors right at the start, even though Xbox is not really a competitor anymore. But even just, and because they do release consoles, maybe they were like, well, let's not give them a dev kit yet. I thought about this a little bit with Sonic Racing Cross Worlds because Sonic Racing Cross Worlds didn't get a Switch release or Switch 2 release. It's not getting it until like next month, I think.
Yeah.
And part of me wondered if it was difficult to get a dev kit initially because they knew Mario Kart World was going to launch with the system and they didn't want another kart racer coming out like soon after or something like that.
Yeah.
But then they announced it in December, so maybe that's all nothing. I don't know. I have no idea. But there has been reports that Nintendo's been stingy with giving out the dev kits. I think that's getting better.
Yeah.
I think now that the year's gone on, they're giving out more. But it is interesting tactic. I think they were just really wanting to focus on their first party stuff for the first year, and which is funny because some people think, well, the first party lineup's not even super strong. I think it's pretty strong though.
Yeah.
I think Donkey Kong, Mario Kart, Kirby Air Riders, Metroid Prime, Pokemon. That's a pretty solid first year if you ask me. But anyways, moving on to the next thing. This one will be really quick. IGN released its top 100 Nintendo games, which is interesting. I guess I would have assumed they had already done that before. I just wanted to talk about number one because it's just funny to me. Number one on IGN's top 100 is Tears of the Kingdom of all games.
Is this top 100 Switch or just Nintendo in general?
Nintendo in general. Top 100 Nintendo all time. So it at number 2 was Breath of the Wild. Number 3 was Super Mario World. Number 4 was Super Mario Odyssey. Number 5 was Tetris. Number 6 was Ocarina of Time. So Tears of the Kingdom beat Ocarina of Time by 5 places, which is very surprising to me. Not necessarily because Ocarina of Time is functionally as good as Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom has been out for like 2 years and has had little time to actually cook in terms of influence, right? Which I find a little baffling and ambitious to put a game that new as number one, because to me a number one has to have weight in its importance and influence within the industry, especially when it just quickly beats out Breath of the Wild at number 2, when Breath of the Wild is clearly the more influential game. And also debatably as good, if not better, than Tears of the Kingdom, Like, people are still debating as to whether or not that game's better, but when it's that close, you imagine the importance and the impact would carry it above to number 1. But hey, everyone's allowed their own lists, if this is the games they think is the best, then that's fair enough. I just thought it was funny. Tears of the Kingdom of all games reaching number 1. And I love Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's a great game. I don't think I would put it above Breath of the Wild. I don't think I'd even put it above Ocarina of Time if I'm factoring in importance. So I just thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, I'm just finding it a little bit interesting that, like, okay, you got big open world game, 2D platformer from the 90s, and then big open world game again.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems a little switch pilled, like just a little bit switch pilled, just because And that could be because those are widely popular, you know. Obviously they sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I guess Odyssey makes a little bit of sense because it there is no game that's even as close to the level of polish in terms of Mario platformers as Odyssey. But like Breath of the Wild is very similar to Tears of the Kingdom and
Yeah.
was much more
That's
influential.
also
I
true.
mean, they're so close to the same game. They use the same world. They just have new challenges. If anything, Tears of the Kingdom is just a really big DLC for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I feel like
So
Majora's
I find
Mask
that
even had
very
more
ambitious.
differences.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Majora's Mask, its core
from
gameplay
Ocarina.
was different, right? Uh, so I don't know. I'm like to it's one thing to put it above Ocarina of Time, sometimes cited the best game of all time, but to put it above Breath of the Wild, which is so similar and yet way more influential. Yeah, that's wild to me. But hey, IGN, go off. You know, if you really feel like, I guess this was actually in collaboration with Nintendo Life, so they both got together and decided that's what the victor is. Funny, just
I
funny.
mean, I almost wonder if it's
Um,
because like the only difference is with Breath of the Wild that like I wonder if like the reason that some people see it as a certain way, like being as the better one, is just because it was new on a new system versus Tears of the
yeah.
Kingdom, where the Switch has already been out for quite a while, and then that dropped. That's the one thing I'm wondering about.
Yeah, that's just weird. It's really strange to me that uh, you can put a game that new because 2023 was yesterday. I
Yeah,
blinked and 2024 and 5 came by. You
yeah,
know, it's like that's crazy. No, well, what are you gonna do?
yeah.
I just find it funny, and a lot of their comments find it funny too. But you know that is their list, and I appreciate their journalistic integrity to uh actually go with what their opinion is and not just what people would expect. So
Yeah,
at the very least, there's that. Also, I think I like Breath of the Wild better, but what are you gonna do?
I have not played Tears of the
Uh,
Kingdom yet, so I
that's
cannot give a take.
that's fair. That's fair. It's still a great game. I don't believe the allegations of Tears of the Kingdom is a bad game. I just feel like I'm realistic with like Breath of the Wild is monumental, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's all the headlines I've got today. We are definitely pushing the clock a little bit, so I'm just gonna ask you real quick: are there any games you're excited about, Ventus? Any games that you want to put in your library? You want to download, experience? What are you excited about these days?
I'm excited for Tomodachi Life. Um, the new
Okay,
one coming out. I really want to see where that goes
right,
because I got into Tomodachi Life years after it came out.
right,
Still quite a while ago. I think it was like 2019, 2020. During COVID where you couldn't go see people, so I just made them, you know. Uh,
right.
so I'm excited to see that. I know it's not Nintendo game, but it could be on Nintendo platform. Except for Kingdom Hearts 4. Hopefully we see
Sure.
something soon. I'm hoping it's gonna be on Switch too, to be honest. Because
So what
yeah,
they what have they announced about it so far? I'm a little out of the loop.
for Kingdom Hearts 4.
Yeah.
So they've shown us one trailer. I think that was in
Okay.
2022. That was my senior year of high school, and
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Wait, so is that's all they've shown is one
they've
trailer?
shown us one trailer. And when they canceled the mobile, because they were making another mobile game. When they canceled that,
Uh-huh.
they're like they tried to soften the blow by giving us screenshots of Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay. So Kingdom Hearts 4 in a way is your Metroid Prime then.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like you're like one day you're looking out the window just waiting for the horizon
Oh,
and you
like
see
I
the
already,
Kingdom Hearts
yeah, like
parade
I
comes
know
up.
how that feels already from Kingdom Hearts 3. I think that game,
Right. Well,
yeah,
naturally,
it
naturally.
got announced when I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and it came out when I was in my freshman year of
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah, I Metroid Prime was my Kingdom Hearts for a while. But I guess now you're going through it again, possibly with Kingdom Hearts 4. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long this time,
Yeah, yeah,
and hopefully, even more hopefully, it's a darn good game.
yeah,
To my understanding, Kingdom Hearts 3 was still pretty good, right?
yeah.
That's what I hear.
So I feel like once the DLC came out, it was kind of like a fine wine, and like some people like it need to age better with time. I like some people would be like, oh, it
Sure.
shouldn't be better with DLC. That you shouldn't have to buy DLC. But like I'm just like I like it for what it is with the DLC. And I
Yeah.
can't lie
Sure.
and also say I didn't enjoy the base game at all. Um,
Yeah, I think that's what's important is if you If you can enjoy both the base game and the DLC, then there's really no issue, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I don't have anything new to add because I do this every week and I always have to come up with the game. But we're running out of time anyway.
Yep.
So with that, I'm going to thank you guys all so much for listening and remind you once again that we have a Pat Nat Games Discord server where you can join and share your complaints directly. That's linked in the description. Ventus, thank you for joining. Where can people find you? Where can they hear your voice, hear your thoughts and opinions? Learn about your excitement for Kingdom Hearts? Where are you found?
So you can find me on YouTube, Ventus HD, or you can find me on TikTok at Ventus HD or Ventus.hd.yt. Same thing on Instagram. I post shorts on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, all three platforms. I also have Twitter, HD Ventus. I do take my editing commissions on my other Twitter account called Ventus_edits. I'm also on Blue Sky. I don't know the handle off by heart right now, but sure, if you search me up, you'll find me on there.
There you go. I will say I apologize for sending you an email to invite to this because I had not realized that we were already following each other on Blue Sky. I could have just DM'd you there.
I mean,
So instead, I didn't mean to present myself as some very professional person who insists on using email instead of Blue Sky. You know, it's just how it happened.
I mean, as a freelancer, I'm kind of used to checking email anyway, so like it's not
very fair.
Yeah, it's not
very fair.
Foreign to me.
Well, for all of you guys who want to learn more about Ventus or perhaps hire him for some editing work, that is where you can find him. And of course, there'll be a link in the description. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and take care, and so long. Okay.